Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Site. Today I have Game 4 of Bugeater GT, where I will be playing off against Shannon Shoemaker and his notorious Goblins. We are going to be playing Push for this scenario, and it will be another unique deployment similar to the last game. So I'll cover that in just a moment, but first let's go through Shannon's Goblin army. It looks like Shannon's holding on to the second edition Goblins with all his might. But I do know that Shannon's a killer with this list. People look at it, underestimate it, and then he just walks all over them all the time. So got to come into this one prepared because if I play as sloppily as I have the first day of the event, Shannon's definitely going to take advantage of that. So Shannon's got 3 regiments of rabble. He has 3 legions of chariots, one with brew of haste, the other with J boots. He has 3 giants, 1 club, 2 cleavers, so that's 1 rampage, 2 slayers. He has 3 troll bruisers, one with slashing, one with crushing, one with staying stone. He has Kuzla and Madfall, and then he has 2 kings on chariots, 15 drops, 30 unit strength. So yeah, it's a goblin list that you won't see anywhere else besides in the hands of this man, Shannon Shoemaker. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look here at the board because Shannon and I are playing Battle for the Pass, the old school Warhammer Fantasy. Just start playing long ways. So you still deploy 12 inches from the center line. So effectively, we have a 24-inch deep deployment zone. We're still playing push. So it's obviously you're going to have to engage with your opponent. There's no sneaking around a weak flank with the push tokens or anything like that. Yeah, and then push tokens got updated, I think 2 years ago now, but you can carry as many push tokens as you want, but you can only score one of the tokens at the end of the game with push. So you kind of have to do a drop and pickup situation if you put them all on one unit here. But we don't have the tokens out quite yet, but I'll have a picture of those here in just a moment. So deployment wise, Shannon on the far left hand side, he has a king on chariot. This thing is angled to come off the board, so it's slightly like the back corner is touching the board edge and the front corner is not. So he'll come off the board edge naturally as they move forward. Rabble Regiment, he has Kuzlo and Madfall sitting back here because he doesn't want the -1 nerve debuff on himself. He has a giant with Rampage, Troll Bruiser behind. He has another chariot character, King. He has, I believe, the J boots on this blue spider. He has Slayer Giant with another troll behind. Goblin Rabble, which is blocking off Wind Blasting from both of those chariots. So he is taking his time to make sure that he's not getting pushed around by the wind blast. Uh, Another chariot. I think this is Brew of Haste. It doesn't really matter because they're fast enough to get me anyway. Last Slayer Giant with another Troll Bruiser behind. Last Regiment of Rabble. This is his special Titan, which I believe he gave Rampage to. I forget what else it has, but I know it has Rampage. And then the last Chariot Legion. For me, I have Slashing Dreadfiend out on the left with both Mind Screeches, Horde of Scarecrows, Tormentors, and Soul Flares. Scarecrows, Soul Flares, Butcher Flesh Ripper, Trickster's Wand, which Kuzlo and Madfall is the only guy that we're looking to hex this game. We got Regiment of Scarecrows with Tormentors. We have the Portal and the Titan sitting next to each other. I kind of liked how that worked out in my last game, where they both kind of took the space around a difficult or a forest piece of terrain. The Radiance of Life from the portal is pretty nice, um, with the Giant's high nerve. So yeah, I tried to mimic that again here. And then I'd have Horde of Scarecrows, Tormentors, and the last Soulflare unit. So I think I have Blood of the Old Kings on the Soulflare on the right, Helm of the Ram in the middle, and J Boots on the left. So here's a picture of the board again after Shannon's moved, but the tokens are out now, as we can see. So there's one in the middle. He put one on this rabble regiment back here, and then he put one on each of these two units out on the right. His thought is he didn't want to get wind blasted. He didn't have enough to block off the units like this, so he put them on those units. For me, I put two on the horde on the left and one on the horde in the middle. Um, yeah, wanted to split it up a little bit, but realistically, I think I probably should have put one on the Portal of Despair as well. I think that's just a good token carrier in general, that I should have considered. But with Shannon putting two out here, maybe I'll have the opportunity to kill these units, pick up the token, and the portal can get that. So yeah, that's how we're looking here. So Shannon pushes forward. He gets in range with his short bows, with his kings on chariots. He's going to try to pick on the far left flank of mine. So a little bit close up on the positioning here, and this is my turn. So I push forward. So I'm pushing forward in such a way that I'm not allowing Rabble to get charge on me. I'm okay with pretty much everything else. I don't want him to be able to utilize the Rabble to potentially block off my counter charges and flanks when he comes into my lines. Because one of the big issues with Shannon's army matching up against mine is his base sizes. As soon as those chariot legions hit anything, they're never safe. They're just way too big of a base, and I'm always going to have a flank possibility from one way or another. So he has to be very cautious and either charge them both together to protect each other's flanks, but then they can't reform effectively after that. Chariot legions just are not a great base size to try and avoid the counter charging, counter a counter attack after you charge. Um, and his giants don't want to go into infantry hordes. His rampage giant is fine with it, but it by itself is not going to pop an infantry horde. And I think Shannon just doesn't have quite enough utility or tools to take out the chaff wall and actually get to my hard hitting units. And likewise, if he just charges giants in, I could easily just fly over and charge past and hit his chariots, which are going to be very vulnerable then. So Shannon at this point kind of sees I'm drawing a line, the rabble's not going to charge me type thing, and he is definitely calculating and is afraid of the counterpunch that I possess. So I got my Titan into the forest, just nose in, and I'm going to do some wind blasting on this giant to keep it to where I can actually successfully sit in this forest and not get charged. I can be charged by the chariots. Well, this chariot has a token, so it'd have to drop it, but this one in the middle here could take a hinder charge into me. But I've blocked it off to where there's no double charging because of where my other Titan base is positioned. So on Shannon's turn, he realizes that the tension's not great, so he ends up backing out of my potential wild charge range with my scarecrows. Because even though I'm carrying a token, I can roll for the wild charge, and then I can choose to drop the token in order to benefit from the wild charge. Um, Another, I think, reasoning behind why he would back up is because he's actually winning the shooting war against me. My lightning bolts have not been great; they kind of sucked here, and he did like 3 or 4 wounds to my guy first turn. So I should say that in most of the games it hasn't mattered, but the Portal of Despair is inspiring. I believe the Horde or this unit of Soul Flares back here. So that way, the shoot off, even if he does get one lucky nerve roll, I'm not going to just pick up the unit. I do have inspiring to counteract a lucky roll. So yeah, he's got me up to 4 wounds and did a waiver already. So yeah, lucky for him. But yeah, this is my movement. So one of the things I'm looking at is just making slight adjustments. I don't need to push aggressively. There's no need for me to go into his line here. So what I'm doing is I'm blocking off the potential for giants to get into this butcher flesh ripper. So I angle in and push forward, so it's not enough room for a titan size base to fit in here. But obviously his chariot could if he wanted to. So that was the slight improvement I'm making in my line this particular turn. Otherwise, on the right hand side, we're pushing forward a little bit more aggressively. I do want to offer the option for his units with tokens to come into me because I think it'll end badly for Shannon if he does. So, and this is kind of how it ends up. Shooting, we're just trying to hit El Guapo here, the Chariot King on the far left. So, and maybe we did Wind Blast, maybe we didn't. Doesn't None of it's really a big deal, but yeah. So top of 3 for Shannon. He's not charging anymore or anything again, so he's positioning El Guapo to try and be able to shoot with while still getting cover from this unit. So he successfully does that right now, and then yeah, he just maintains some tension, backing up a little bit here and there. Doesn't want me to get some wild charges at him, so he's really staying out of 11 inches pretty much everywhere, except for with like this rabble regiment. So he does 1 wound and gets another waiver on my Dread Fiend. This is just getting annoying now. He did hex me last turn with Kuzlo Madfall onto this guy, which I decided, screw it, we'll take it. So I went ahead and just stay put, shot. I believe I took 6 wounds. I had 3 hits with my lightning bolts. But yeah, we're not rolling as high a nerve rolls to waiver El Guapo over there. So, but I did have my Dread Fiend up to hex his Kuzlo, which Kuzlo has like regen 4 up, so it really doesn't matter that much. I think Shannon will recover all the wounds that he takes from hex, but anyway, one of the silly things I'm doing is I'm shooting this guy with lightning bolt, and then I'm wind blasting him backwards so that he's in range of Kuzlo and Madfall to get the additional -1 when I actually roll the nerve test. So just little text, little fun things, a little mini game going on over here. But I'm not rolling good nerves like Shannon was here for those waivers, so I guess I should just feel lucky that my Dreadfiend hasn't died yet. So, yeah. So we back off. We're outside of charge range, and we're just making it to where we're going to have some cover, hopefully, for the following shots after this. But yeah, that's where we're sitting here, just maintaining the pressure, pushing forward much more aggressively on the right hand flank. I'm saying, let's fucking go. I'm ready. I don't think you have enough stuff on the right hand side to reliably hold these 2 tokens that I keep backing you up on. So if I get those units to engage, or even if those units drop their tokens and charge me, then that's already a win. My thought as well is these 2 tokens over here, they are kind of exposed, especially later the game goes on. So this was already my turn, bottom 3. So I'm thinking, I'll give Shannon one more chance. I think if we engage here this next turn, that there's enough time for me to, really get the positioning I need, get the flanks, get the kills, to actually re-pick up these tokens. But my thought is at this point, if Shannon doesn't charge in this next turn, I don't want to risk having a 2 turn time clock if he comes in and says, I'm going to take the tokens on my giant because that's the highest nerve I have. It's going to be really tough for me to recover those from that. So, if next turn, I'm planning on dropping these tokens and allowing some of these units on the back line to pick them up. So yeah, I did get a waiver on El Guapo. He's up to 7 wounds here. I will say that he's been taking, this is his third round of lightning bolts. So he's had 36 lightning bolts shot at him. I will say about half of that's been cover, but even then, if you had 18 shots, no cover, that's 9 hits. That's 6 wounds by itself. So you do the math. Is my lightning bolts really doing enough? Apparently not. But we got a waiver, so we'll take it. All right, Shannon's turn 4. It is time to actually dance. He does say, well, I can hold these tokens and charge you. So he's going to do that. He positioned this rabble unit by running it forward, so that way his final position with these guys would be further over, so less, devastating flank opportunities, I guess. Yeah, but he still does not engage on the other side of the board, which is where my tokens are. So okay, I'm all right with that. I will also take a little bit of time to mention now that I have been pretty happy and fortunate that Shannon put these trolls on the second line just to try and avoid some wind blasts. The trolls are the little units that he could just be throwing into my lines and forcing me to take, some of my heavy hitters out in front of my lines to deal with them. But I'm I'm glad that that's not the case because otherwise he could have been jamming my lines and pushing forward more aggressively. Instead, he's backing up little by little. So yeah, left. This is how it looks. He's still trying to shoot on the right. He double charged. So shooting did like a wound over here because the other guys wavered. And yeah, that's where we are. So he does kill the horde of scarecrows, and then this is my counter to that. So from the center, the regiment had a flank. I took troop in the front, troop in the flank of his Titan. The troop in the flank came from the center. Obviously, the other troop came there. So, and then the giant went into the rabble because he has rampage. So let's use it. And then the soul flares charge in, and they're popping blood of the old kings over here just to try to, get a waiver on this guy. That'd be great. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Everything went exceptionally well for us. So we pick up the Titan, which is something I wasn't actually expecting. 18, 19, I guess Dread's already there, but 36 attacks, hitting on threes, wounding on fours. That's 24 hits, that's 12 wounds, 13 effectively with the Dread. We need a 7 twice, and we got it. So we killed the Rabble Regiment, which is kind of expected. I just needed to protect the Titan's flank. This Legion could just go forward, turn, and hit the flank. So I chose to back up the regiment, see if it, to try and block off that. So it backed up. My Titan ran forward. He ended up in a great spot where his flank is 100% protected. He's going to take a front charge from a giant, but you know what? We could probably last a turn with that. And then most importantly of all, we did, I think it was like 9 wounds over here with, Blood of the Old King, Elite, and Vicious popped. And we wavered this unit. So that is big. Very, very big. So after killing the Titan, I took the token with the troop here, and then it went forward, and so it dropped the token before declaring its next move action, which was overrun going forward. So the token's back here, and look, the portal's coming to pick it up. So this is how it looks going into Shannon's turn 5, which I will say I believe I did. Yes. I will say that over on the left hand side, we will see that I did the maneuver I was discussing. Can't really see it here, but one of the tokens got dropped here. The unit used to be 4 inches backwards, so one of the tokens got dropped here. The other one's gotten dropped here. So the Mind Screech picked up this token, and the other one's just sitting on the ground right now. My expectation is the other Mind Screech eventually will go pick that token up. Um, Realistically, we probably don't need to get them on the other side of the board because we're already winning. But you know, if the opportunity presents itself, we will. So this is what it looks like going into Shannon's turn 5. So top of 5 here, and Shannon says, "Well, nothing else I can do but charge." So he does. He comes in over here, double charge. This is a Rampage Giant. Not likely going to break this, but started to block it up, do some wounds. Kevin here, hinder charge the butcher. That's not going anywhere. A legion with J boots and a giant into this horde of scarecrows with the token. That's probably going to do something. Obviously, the flank is gonna die. Just the giant into my titan. I should live for at least a turn. He has a flank charge on this troop because I didn't have any good reform options, so that's a good one for sure. And obviously, this unit's wavered, so it can't do anything. Kills that horde as we expect. He kills the troop that he hit in the flank, and then he turns 90 degrees to face this way. And he killed the regiment. So he had his reforms weren't great options because you know what? He's a Legion base. So you know what we do to that? We just crisscross applesauce flanks all day. Soul flares, 3 for 3 flanks here. We'll see it up close. So first off, the soul flare from the left went boom. We have J boots. We're gonna go straight into that difficult terrain flank. The other one that was sitting back here behind this horde that got killed said, "Oh, well, there's a gap between your Titan and my unit that just charged there. I can see the flank of your troll." So, boom, flank. The other Soul Flare said, you were wavered. I can see over you. You're height 3. Boom, flank. Yeah, so and Tormentor troops getting in on some flank actions too. So everybody's getting flanks for days. This is why Shannon didn't want to come in because he knows his base sizes are not ideal for this whole situation. We throw some units into the front of some of these to just guarantee we're getting the kills. They had nothing else better to do. And our Butcher Flesh Ripper came up and picked up the token that was in the middle. So why not? So yeah, that is how our movement ends up. Our shooting, we killed El Guapo with our lightning bolts from the left. They were covered lightning bolts, but we did it, boys. Mission accomplished. It only took 5 turns of lightning bolts to do it, but 60 lightning bolts eventually kills something. Alrighty, and this is after all the combat, so a little bit. This is actually the beginning of Shannon's turn, but we killed the Troll Bruiser. We turned like this. We killed the Legion. We ran forward. We turned like that because the giant couldn't see us then. We killed this Legion. We turned to look at the back of that giant and turned to look this way. We killed the other Legion. We turned around to take the front charge from the other Butcher. And so this is how it ends up. Yeah, it's not great because Shannon fails to kill this horde with another, giant and rabble countercharging. It didn't go well for him. So, what else did he fail to kill? He failed to kill, I think, everything. Yeah, he might have gotten a couple waivers, but he failed to kill everything. So it was the epitome of the worst possible outcome, I believe. So um, Shannon does have a token on this giant, and he does have a token on this regiment way in the back of the board. But I have tokens on everything else now. So these two have a token. The This has a token. There's a token drop there. The butcher has a token. So I am definitely winning the scenario right now. Shooting after 60 lightning bolts it took to kill one king on chariot. 12 covered lightning bolts kill a full rabble regiment for some ungodly reason. I don't understand this game sometimes. I guess they were dread. They did have Kuzlo's -1, so they were effectively a 10-12 nerve. So that helps. But yeah, we spiked a dice roll. We got a kill. We rear charge, flank charge, double front charge this giant. We flanked in front this one. We flanked the Titan with the soul flares that had those were J boots. So yeah, we flanked the Titan. This one has Helm of the Drunken Ram. That's in the rear there, so that's going to be nice. And we front charge there, we counter charge there. So end result: shooting killed that. Melee killed the Titan. We snake eyes Kevin here. He's gonna live, but we killed the other giant. And that is where the game ends. So I'm bottom of 6. So Shannon has Kuzlo, he has this Titan, he has Kevin, he has a Troll Bruiser, and the regiment back there. But token wise, he has 2 points here, a third point back here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe that's all of them. Yeah, yep, that's all. So we won 5-3 in the scenario. So um, yeah, it was. I think it was a rough matchup for Shannon. Um, I think that the tools he had, he did not utilize as well as he could have, especially the troll bruisers. If he had the troll bruisers up and in the fight, forcing some issues, pressing certain sides of the board that he wanted to add pressure to, I think this game's a lot more different, much different outcome. In the end, I believe I got a 21 point victory out of this, out of the 22 possible. Um, and yeah, backing up and delaying the engagement and then only half committing on one side of the board. Um, it just didn't work out in the end. I think he needed to either commit across the board on the turn he was going to commit, or, ideally the deployment would have been a little bit different. But uh, on my side, I felt much better about the gameplay. I felt like I understood the matchup beginning to end. I deployed intentionally. I moved intentionally. Even with the lightning bolts not being very effective, I was able to still force the issue where I had the advantage. So yeah, a good size win for us going into the last game. This means that we'll be on the top table, facing the only other undefeated player at this point. So we're playing for the whole thing at this point, and love the opportunity to do that. So. But Shannon, this is just payback for all the nasty things your goblins did to me in second edition. I know that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Uh, but yeah, it was a great game. I had a lot of fun. I think if we play again, you're gonna have a lot different of an answer and approach to the game. So play anytime, brother. And yeah, that's what I got for you tonight. And we will see you on the next game, where we'll be playing on table 1 for the title of Bugeater champion for 2025. So catch you guys on the next one.